All right, cool. We're going to talk about referrals. Anybody like referrals? Before we get started, I'm just curious, how many of you guys are in the B2B world, meaning you focus on serving business owners? Show hands so I can kind of customize this. About half. How about homeowners? Who serves homeowners primarily, consumers? Some of you are not going to raise your hand no matter what I say. Okay. All right, fine. We can play that game. Now, this is going to be interactive. I want it to be fun. I know it's been a great morning. And before I start, I really want to just give a shout out for Eric and My Biz Coaches. Anybody here actually do events? Like, do you know what it takes to put on an event? Like, it's a massive undertaking. And if you don't do events, you just show up and you get to eat the food and hear from the speakers. And it's like, oh yeah, so easy. Not at all. So Eric, thank you for all of your effort. And I have to thank Eric not only for putting this on, but really for the coaching that he's been doing with our team at HOA.com. So we hired Eric last July 1st, actually. He started with HOA.com. And he's been helping us clarify our market dominating position, helping to lead the sales team, creating sales processes within the organization. And so if you're not already working with Eric or one of the coaches, you absolutely should take the time, go through the ROI analysis process, and really see what's possible for your business. I love Les Brown. He says, you can't see the picture when you're inside the frame. Any CEOs feel that way? I feel that way all the time. I had some of my team come to me yesterday and they said, boss, you're not seeing the picture. Like, you're not seeing what's going down on the ground. And I went, wow, you're right. Like, so I learned a lot, okay? So that's why it's so important to have a business coach and what I love about My Biz Coaches is it's not a coach. Right? They have specialists in different areas. And so whether you need somebody in finance, whether you need somebody in marketing, whether you need somebody in sales, they can bring the right people to support your success. But we're going to talk about referrals, which is what I love. And so we're going to tell you a lot about, and before I get into that, I really want to ask one other thing, which is if you think about your number one biggest business challenge, how many of you would say that it's either more clients, more business, better marketing, more sales? How many of you, that's like your number one challenge? Raise your hands. A few of you, okay. How many would you say it's you need help with your teams, managing your people? Okay, thank you, Chris. Appreciate you participating. How about you guys? You're not going to raise your hand no matter what, so I'm going to call on you. What would you say your number one biggest business challenge is? Getting started? Okay, so you haven't yet gotten started. That's why you don't yet know what your challenge is. Is that true for you too? Underwriting. You're in the lending space? Oh, getting policies approved. Okay, okay. Who else wants to play? Any other biggest business challenge? Brandon? Bandwidth. Like, how do you deal with all the stuff that you've got? Yeah, yeah. So that scalability. Yeah, please. Oh, okay, okay, right? So getting in front of your perfect prospects at the right time, right? Perfect, thank you. I'm gonna stick with that because you've just teed me up for this conversation, which is what we're gonna talk about, which is all about referrals. So just a little bit of background on me. I was in the mortgage business for 12 years. I got started as a single dad back in my 20s. I had a kid in college, and at 24, I got full custody. Any other single parents in the house? One, yep, you know, you two, okay. So you know what that's like. That's not fun. I was making $20,000 a year at the time, working as a marketing director for an estate planning law firm. I got my college degree, and I somehow had bought a house. I don't know how that's even possible at $20K a year, but I did. And then I found out that I didn't have enough money to pay my mortgage and the daycare bill. And the reason I found that out is the mortgage company kept sending the checks back. I'd send them a check, they'd send it back with three little letters on them. Any guesses what those letters said? NSF, insufficient funds. Like some of you young people are like, what's a check? And what's NSF? Like that, I don't think even exists anymore, but it's all good. So I knew I had to make a change. I went into the mortgage business. I had somebody mentor me in the art and the science of raving referrals. So that's what I'm going to share with you. Since that time, I closed over $500 million in transactions by referral. So I kind of have the experience in how this works. And I've been building tech. I got out of the mortgage business in 2009, the last time there was kind of a downturn. And I went, this isn't fun anymore. And it wasn't really challenging for me anymore. And I wanted to go do something different. And I actually went and left the mortgage industry, created a personal development company. And from there went on to building tech platforms. The last one was called Refer.com. We built that to 5 million members, including 250,000 realtors, and then exited that in 2019. And then in 2021, wrote the book Raving Referrals. So I'm going to tell you some of the stories and some of the stuff that we did there. And this is really about dominating your local market, whatever market it is that you're in. I'm so used to having a screen, Eric. I'm going to have to like come over here so I can see what we're talking about. And so some of you, about half of you, are serving business owners. Okay, so what I'm going to teach you is what we're doing here at HOA.com. And if you serve business owners, if you're in the B2B space, I want you to think about the same exact principles, because it's all about who is your perfect prospect. Who is it that you're looking to serve? And as you get clear on that perfect prospect profile, you'll start to identify who are the people, the businesses that are serving them on a regular basis. And if you can partner with those people and companies and add enough value to the point where they want to promote you to the clients that they serve, now you're part of their what we call a trusted team. And that's what we're all going to be talking about today, okay? And there's a way that you can really gain influence and authority and become the top trusted expert in your field. You know, Eric talks a lot about market dominating position. How do you establish yourself as that authority where people want to work with you? I'm going to let you in on an inside secret. Eric's doing that with you all in this room right now, right? Because by the end of tomorrow, you're going to be so impressed with the information and the education that you've gotten at this event and with the quality and caliber of people that he's assembled to be in this room, you'll have no choice but to work with them. Okay, that's part of the position in this strategy. I think it's freaking brilliant. I've used events. If you haven't done events and it applies to your business, you should think about that. But you want to become that top trusted expert. Now, we have a referral partner blueprint. Happy to give it away as a gift. If you want to scan that, you're welcome to. Or if you want to give me your business card later on, I'm happy to send it to you. But that is a 16-page document that walks you through, kind of takes my 250-page book down to 16 pages. Here's who to target, what to say, how you can actually create these referral partnerships in a quick, condensed way. Okay? All good, Doug? Good? Got it? Great. All right. So I'm curious, how many referral partnerships do you have currently? So when we talk about referral partnerships, what I mean by that is somebody that sends you at least one prospective client every 90 days. Okay? So how many of you would say that you have zero? Is anybody that has zero? A few of you. Okay. Thank you for raising your hands. Like usually, that's one of those categories. Normally we do this online and somebody doesn't have to say, sorry, I don't have zero. That's okay. 32% of the people that I've surveyed thousands of people, 32% have zero referral partners. So it's totally common. How about 1 to 2? 1 or 2. Okay, another about 20% of you, great, 3 to 5. Okay, 6 to 9. And anybody with 10 plus? Not in this room, and that's totally cool. What we find is that only 2% of the thousands of people that I've surveyed have 10 or more referral partners, right? So there's less than 100 people in this room, less than 50 people. It's expected. Nobody's in that category. But what we did is we dug into that. And we said, okay, if you're at 10 plus, on average, what kind of income are you earning? And on average, the people with 10 or more referral partnerships earn over $250,000 a year. Okay, so part of our goal and part of my personal mission is to help everybody get at least 10 referral partnerships so that you're in that category, so that you're attracting your personal prospect consistently, predictably, and that you're living the life that you're looking for, okay? So there's really 5 strategies we're going to go through pretty quickly. Giver's gain, building strong referral partnerships, elevating your expert authority, localizing your marketing, and then being a charity champion, all right? So what do you think the number one need for 90% of business people is? And I've kind of already shared this with you because I asked you this question earlier, but any guesses? Leads, referrals, yes, more clients, right? For most people that are in business, and not only business owners, but at HOA.com, we serve a lot of small business professionals and, quite frankly, business professionals, realtors, insurance agents, painters, plumbers, HVAC companies, right? And a lot of them are like a lone ranger or a lone wolf, meaning they're out there by themselves. And so, again, I told you 32% have 0, 27% have 1 or 2. And what we find is that 79% have 0 to 6 referral partners. So for the majority, if you look at the 80-20 rule, the majority don't have many referral partners, and they haven't figured out the automation and the marketing like Brandon does there for Integro Bank, right? He's the marketing expert. We had Spencer here earlier. You were probably a little dazed, maybe a little confused with all the stuff that Spencer shared with you because there's so much to do, right? Thank God we have Spencer at HOA.com because I don't need to know any of that because we've got the expert doing it. But most people need more clients. And so the question is, how are you giving value to people? How are you attracting people to your business and that want to work with you, right? What are you doing to separate and stand out from your competition and really attract people? Anybody want to play this game? What are you doing that's working? What's working for you? Come on, Mary. What's working for you? I know you're always game to play.
That's what works for me. Always being there with nobody else.
And being a yes. What I know about this woman is she is a yes. She gets invited to some place and she says yes, right? And we always talk about yes equals success. I don't know many of you personally in this room. I know some of you, but I can say when I look back at my successes, all those opportunities have come when I've said yes, right? When I say no, it's okay. Sometimes you need to say no to good to say yes to great, right? So there's power in saying no, but all the great opportunities have come through yes. So that's one of the things I love about you, Mary. Anybody else? Phil, what's worked best for you?
Putting the others first, just finding out what they need.
Amen.
Eric here today, I said, look, what do you need me to do this morning? I'm here to help.
That's it. That's that giver's game mentality that we're talking about. Absolutely. I love it. Thank you for playing. So one of the things that you should be looking at engineering into your business is ways to wow your clients and add value to everybody you serve. Make sense? So one of the things, this is something that we're actually launching this month. It's launched in live. There's a couple additions that we're making to it. And just to give you kind of the context for what we're building, because you might have seen HOA.com, you're like, oh my gosh, I hate my HOA, right? How many of you live in an HOA? Okay, 53% of homeowners in America live in an HOA. How many of you hate your HOA? It looks like the same hands just went up. I think that's typically what we see. We believe there's a better way to HOA, so we're creating a tech platform that's kind of like Zillow meets Nextdoor meets Angie's List. Okay, so ultimately that's what we're building. We're creating online community pages for every neighborhood in America. I think that's the Nextdoor play, right? With the home valuations that I'm about to show you, like a Zillow, and with a co-marketing piece that really you haven't seen before anywhere else because we haven't seen it, but the ability to find top trusted pros in each local neighborhood. And what's different about what we're doing is that we want to bring communities back together again. One of our pros here in Chandler just did an event recently, and it was a barbecue in a neighborhood. And the mortgage guy said, it worked with our president, Thomas Evans. They put together a plan. They went and did a barbecue, invited the homeowners that live in that neighborhood. They came out, and it was so cool because we were there. I don't think you came out for that one. No, it was so cool. There was about 50 people there, right? All the homeowners brought their own stuff if they wanted to throw it on the grill. But I'm looking around, and the kids are playing basketball. There's music playing. They're playing cornhole, what's the pong? Yard pong, right? Like beer pong, but with these buckets, yard pong, and then a kickball game. Like I pulled a hammy playing kickball. I haven't done that in 40 years. But what was cool about it is that at one point I looked around and there was about 50 people there. Not one person was on their cell phone. Neighbors were talking to neighbors. Many of these neighbors had never met before. So really that's the big vision for what we're building is connecting communities. That's our tagline. one of the things that we're doing, and again, this all goes back, the teaching point here is to create wow in your business. How can you add value to the clients that you're serving so that you wow them and they have no choice but to hire you? Again, what Eric is looking to do with you all here. Add so much value that it makes a difference for everybody. So this report will go out from a Stacy Dowling, for example. It'll show the value of the homeowner, of the home, the net equity. And I don't know if I can stop it, but this piece right there is the key. What you just saw is not only is Stacy promoting herself when this automated home value report goes out to every single homeowner in her database, Stacy is getting promoted at the top and the middle and the bottom. And in addition to that, she's promoting her top trusted pros. Stacy's going to use this as a value add to her referral partners, right? To number one, to wow her homeowners, keep her top of mind every single month. Her brand is being remarketed to those homeowners to remind them that she is there when it's time for that they need help with a loan. And in addition, she's promoting her top trusted professionals. Okay, so the message here is figure out a way to wow your clients. Figure out a way to wow your referral partners. What can you do? What can you do to infuse into your business, your processes? Maybe you're onboarding, you're welcome. Maybe you're sending them a swag pack or a welcome gift when they become a client for you. Maybe you're partnering with another pro and offering additional benefits, right? Eric talked about bundling earlier. One of the things that I teach in the Raving Referrals book is how do you bundle bonuses from your partners? You don't have to pay all the time. What if you offered, if you're serving business owners, what if you partnered up with Eric and said, hey, we'll do a free ROI analysis when you become a client for our pay entry, right? Wouldn't that make sense? Right? Because a client for one should be a client for all, okay? So that's what we're talking about there. We're also doing a concierge program because when somebody moves into a new home and new area, they don't really know all of the people that they should be using. I moved down here to Phoenix from Portland, Oregon in 2014. When my wife and I came, we didn't know a soul in the Valley. And so my wife got on Facebook and started asking, who do you know I can trust, right? Well, we've taken that process and what we're doing, laser doesn't work, but you can see we're co-branding it for our pros. So where you see that Mike Mortgage up there, that will be the face and photo of the pro that's giving this to their homeowner that's moving into a new home. Did you know that buying a home is the third most stressful thing you go through in life? Any ideas what number one is? Public speaking. That is the number one fear. That is the number one fear, is doing what I'm doing now. I'd rather be alive, but you're right, absolutely. But what is the number one most stressful thing? Marriage. That's great. I love that. I've never heard. Did you say that? Who said that? I love that answer. Marriage, yeah? Well, divorce is number two, so you're not far off. Death of a loved one is number one. Death of a loved one is proven to be the number one most stressful thing we go through. Divorce is number two. Moving and buying a new home is number three. So what we do is we have a concierge program. This is going live later this month, and what will happen is if you're serving homeowners, you have somebody that's moving, you'll be able to give them a free concierge service, totally free to the homeowner. They'll have a dedicated concierge that will work with them by phone, email, or text, helping them from start to finish. We will change their address for them, set up their utilities, internet, cable, get them quotes on home insurance, quotes on solar, if they need help with moving, storage, all of that, right? Like all the services that you need when you move into your home. So we just provide that to our members that wows our pros, and they get to wow their homeowners, right? So again, lesson here is what can you do to integrate into your product or your service or your solution things that make a difference, that attract people to you and really add value to everyone you serve. Make sense? Any questions on that before we go on? Cool. Okay, and then here's the other thing. If 90% of people need help with more clients, leads, marketing, referrals, what if you help them by helping them connect with other referral partners? One of the things I love doing is going to networking events. When I go, I don't like to go alone. I like to say, hey, Eric, I'm going to this event. I'm going to Empower Networking Organization. Yes, thank you. We're all getting used to this new brand, Empower Networking Empowerment Networking Organization. And why don't you come along? What are you doing tonight? Let's go to work the room together. And then what happens is you go with a networking buddy, you make sure that they understand who you're looking to meet with. If you're looking to meet with CPAs or mortgage professionals or whoever it is, business owners, make sure they understand your perfect prospect profile. And then you can introduce your networking buddy to the people that you're meeting with. You could say, oh my gosh, Thomas and Sarah just walked in the room. You got to meet this guy. He's amazing, right? And now you make that introduction, you edify people. Thank you. Welcome for joining. Happy to have you join us. And then you add value to everyone. You see that? So as you add value and help people create partnerships, find out who is it that they're looking to meet? Who would make a difference in their business? And then make that connection. Phil, you do that. That's part of what your organization's all about, right? And the people love it, don't they? You have a story you want to share about the difference that makes?
Well, I just did doing one for Eric.
Tell us more.
So when they were talking about the last section about business credit and all that, we actually have a guy in the organization that does help businesses get their business credit immediately.
Love it.
You don't have to wait. You don't have to build it for 2 years with $1,000, credit card.
Yeah.
That'll help you get it going immediately.
Brilliant.
Anywhere between $50,000 and $100,000 that you can get.
So you connected him with Eric?
I'm connecting him with Eric.
Right.
Because they're perfect for it.
Perfect partnership all day long. Here's one of the things I love about that. Every time that guy connects with Eric, who are they talking about? Who are they talking about? Phil. Hey, I'm so glad Phil connected the two of us. Have you talked to him lately? I love that guy. He's amazing. He's always empowering others and helping them network. I changed the O there. You're cool with that, right? Yeah. All right. So you get this. Does that make sense? Everybody get this? Now, I know we're talking about the homeowner space here because that's what we focus on at HOA.com. But when you think about business owners, who would that be? If you're in the B2B space, who do you want to connect with? Y'all, I'm going to start calling on people. Brandon, what'd you say? Other business owners? Yes, and? I mean, guys, if you serve B2B space, you better go back and talk to Mr. Pay Entry here, right? You absolutely should have a business coach in your arsenal. Why? Who does Eric talk to all the time? Who does Jim talk to all the time? Other business owners. Is this making sense? Stop working by yourself. Partner with the people that are already building relationships. We teach a trust transfer, right? The beauty of referrals is that 90% of people trust the recommendations of others. Do you know that 84% of B2B transactions happen through a referral? 84%. If you're cold calling on business owners, that is a long haul. What if you could get somebody to open the door and connect you to a CEO or exactly who it is that you're looking to connect with? On Wednesday, I had a call with the chairman of the board of the C-Suite Network. This is a nationwide organization. They serve the C-Suite space, right? And I showed him, I think I've got a slide at the end, of the companies that are on our vision board that we plan to partner with. We call them our future preferred partners, okay? So my team has a map of the top 100 companies that we want to come pay us millions of dollars to be part of our network and promoted to every homeowner in America, right? And so I was on with the CEO of the C-Suite Network. I showed him that list, and as he's going through it, you know what he said? He's like, oh man, yeah, I know the CEO of GE. I know the CMO over at Home Depot. I know blah, 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 right? So he goes through this list, and I said, I love you, Jeff. You are the best. He said, yeah, I love what you're doing, and I'll be happy to make introductions. Will you send me a list of all the companies that you want connections with, and I'll just go through the list, and I'll make introductions. Do you think that might accelerate our success? Do you think that might leverage the relationships? Because I don't have to build the trust of starting at the bottom and trying to work our way up, right? we're going to have a top-down recommendation from somebody they already know, like, and trust. That's that trust transfer. So work that into your business, all right? Now, we teach create a business alliance. Now, if you've got a plug-and-play organization like Empowerment Networking Organization, then you can just
call it
Eno. If you want to have enosuccess.com, you can just go and literally plug into an organization like what Phil's doing, right? But the whole key is create your referral alliance. We teach at HOA.com, we actually give people an agenda every month so that they can start their own group instead of joining a BNI, for example. And if they want to have a coffee once a month, they know how to kind of have the conversation. So, but bring people to Eno. Find your referral buddy and say, hey, let's go do this together. Because what we teach is consistent collaboration. How do you create a mechanism by which you're consistently collaborating with the same people over and over and over again? That's really what we're building at HOA.com. Now, you should be elevating your authority. You should be on stages, whether that is a physical stage or that's a Clubhouse stage, right? You can go on Clubhouse and just get into a conversation. You don't have to look good. You don't have to put on makeup. You can just have a conversation on Clubhouse, or you can do an Instagram Live. You can do a Zoom call, a webinar, a workshop. So some of the things that we teach. Start your own podcast. Now, I don't have a podcast, but I typically do like 3 podcast interviews a week. And I allow other people to elevate our authority because they're inviting me in and we give them great content, right? So we're adding value to them by providing content that's inspiring and interesting and educational. It gives them something to promote, which is what they need, and they're introducing us to their network, okay? So if you're not starting your own podcast, go to podmatch.com. You can create a profile. You can do a search for other companies, other podcasters. In my second book, Raving Referrals for Dentists, we're creating a whole suite of different books. We've got Raving Referrals for Mortgage Pros, CPAs, real estate agents, insurance agents, and financial planners coming out later this year. So we have 5 more books coming out later this year because my mentor is Mark Victor Hansen, Chicken Soup for the Soul. He said, don't write a book, build a brand. Right? So he did all those Chicken Soup, 57 #1 best-selling books. Right? I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So taking the same book, it's like 80% the same. 20% gets customized for the industry. But find ways to elevate your authority. If you've got certificates, print that out, hang it up in your office. If you're on Zoom all the time, put it in frame. If you've got awards, make sure they're on your LinkedIn profile, on your website. Celebrate your success. Don't keep yourself secret. Some of you need to be shameless self-promoters. Okay, I'm just going to call it out. Some of you are like, yeah, but I feel embarrassed. Get over yourself. Nobody is going to care unless they find that there's a reason to care. Spencer was talking about the bank code system. He mentioned he was a blueprint, okay? There's 4 different personality codes. The blueprint personality codes love to see credentials. They want to see that you've mastered a level of expertise and that you know what you're talking about. If you can't show them that, they're not as interested. If you show them that you graduated and you've got an MBA, add that to your business card. Put that on your LinkedIn profile. Add that to your website because it adds credibility, all right? And then localize your marketing. How many of you guys are really localizing your marketing? Anyone? Brendan, yeah, he is. Yeah, Thomas, absolutely. Now, he was telling me, Thomas, you'd be proud of him. He was talking about the database you guys are building and how you've got 9,000 of your perfect prospects identified, and they know exactly who they want to partner with. Right? People that are on boards of some of the largest organizations, and they're passionate about small business, and you're going to hear all about Thomas later. We teach a concept called hyper-local social farming. Before I get there, I love this quote. There's no power for change greater than a community discovering what it cares about. When you hear Thomas speak, you're going to hear a man that's passionate about what he cares about, and what he cares about is community. This is a community bank. Even though it's a business bank, it's about community, right? But we teach hyper-local social farming. So when you think about HOAs, and I know most of you don't love your HOA, we're going to change that, by the way. We are on a mission to change the way HOAs are run. We believe there's a better way to HOA. But there's 370,000 homeowner associations in the U.S. 53% of all homeowners live in an HOA. And so we're creating individual community pages for every neighborhood in America, and we're teaching these professionals to do hyper-local social farming. Do we have any realtors in the room? Any recovering realtors? Wow, that's unusual. Okay. All right. Thank you for your honesty, Thomas. I appreciate it. So realtors farm areas, right? You'll get postcards from the same realtor over and over and over again if you live in a neighborhood. You don't see it as much anymore. You used to see it all the time. What we're doing is we're creating these community pages for every neighborhood. And within this, we're focusing right now on the mortgage and the real estate industry. So we license this to an individual mortgage loan officer that becomes the mortgage expert, as well as the other home service pros. Eric, I made sure we got my biz coaches up there for you, right? So we partner with and promote the people that are in that local market. Now, it's a major SEO play. That you heard Spencer talking about that. Spencer's our digital marketing director, because people are looking for carpet cleaner near me every single day. They should be finding you as the carpet cleaner. Now, we've built home search in because people are searching for real estate every single day. So we have about 90% of all the home listings in the US that are being built into this program. And people are looking for these communities. So it's a big SEO play, right? And you heard Spencer talking about the power of SEO because it's the power of search. Now, in addition to that, what we do is that people have their own page. Now, you should have a profile page on as many different platforms as possible. With this one, it's all about Matt Baker in this example. We create a badge so that our pros can take that badge and integrate it into their marketing. But it also incorporates all the communities that pro serves and their trusted team. This is the key. You want to be partnering and promoting with people that are serving your perfect prospects every day. The more you promote them, the more they'll promote you, right? Givers gain. So the more that you can impact somebody else, the more top of mind you're going to be, the more they want to reciprocate and give back to you. And then the other thing that we teach is to be a charity champion. There's a term called cause-related marketing, and there's a lot of research on this. So you guys should be sharing the impact that you're making and tying that into your business, right? Phil, what do you guys do to make a difference in charity?
So we're the only organization that combines traditional networking, business networking,
Yep.
with philanthropic giving and human development.
How does the philanthropic giving work?
So we actually have about 15 or more nonprofits
Yep.
that we help them. So they're the small local nonprofits.
Beautiful.
We can all give the American Heart Association $100.
Yep.
Your $100 is not going to make a difference for them. But if she has a nonprofit here, small locally, and you give her $100, it makes a huge difference.
Huge difference. Hyper local.
So we
And
just did a
Yeah.
Super Bowl grid for one of our members.
Oh, that's
and
fun.
raised $2,000.
That's cool.
50% of it went to them. The other 50% went to those that bought the Super Bowl grids and made their win.
That's awesome. That's fun, isn't it? Right? I love that. We had an event last night. One of our pros had an event, and outside there was a Young Life raffle. And so I don't know how much was raised. It was a few $100s to help these kids go to camp. Now, we didn't put it on. One of our people just invited them there. So we got the benefit of teaching the concept and having it show up. Doug, how about you at your company? What do they do to make a difference in the community? Okay. Love it. Anybody else got a great story or a passion project that you've included into your business that's making a difference? Okay, well then I'm planting some seeds. So y'all better, a year from now, we want to see the difference that you're making. There's some great research. The study showed 93% of consumers want to know what companies are doing to make a difference, right? Because don't you want to buy from good companies doing good things? Of course you do. If you knew that your dollars were going to make a difference, are you more apt to choose a brand? That's what the research shows. 89% of corporate execs say companies that lead with impact, purpose, have a competitive advantage. It's not hard either. Like Doug just talked about, we go and volunteer, right? We do a bunch of community impact stuff at HOA.com. I'm a big fan of Big Brothers, Big Sisters, okay? So my wife and I are both bigs. I'm an ambassador for the organization. I have a little, my guy is 15 years old. We just went to a movie Wednesday night. We went and saw John Wick 4. I don't recommend it for anyone. He loved it. I thought it was horrible. It was just nonstop violence the whole time. If you like violence, you'll love it. For me, it was like, is there no plot whatsoever? There was no plot. It was just violence. He loved it. So be a charity champion. Integrate what you're doing into your story, right? We do events that we just are able to share with our community, and people that are inspired come out and be a part of it. We don't have to put on the event, by the way. Sometimes we're just event promoters rather than producers. But we want to give people turnkey things. We currently are doing social media impact events, like we did a Best Dressed Home. We've been booed for Halloween, right? Great egg hunt. We've got somebody here in Chandler's doing an egg hunt on Saturday, tomorrow. And then we're a veteran-owned organization, so we're passionate about our veterans and highly patriotic, okay? We share that with our community, and we make it easy for our pros to copy, paste, and post. Because the more we can make it easy for them, the more that they'll actually do it, right? Most people don't do it because, number one, they're not sure what to do, and number two, they're not sure how to do it. So if you can make it easy for your clients to share what you're doing with the people in their world, that's that social media influence that you want to tap into. So make it easy for people to spread the word about what you're doing. Does that make sense? All right, cool. So that's kind of the 5 keys that we've been talking about. I think you guys get what we're doing here. I don't think we have to go into that. It's really about the impact that you guys are making. And before I wrap, I want to talk about the key to success. Because guys, there's really 2 keys in my mind. Sorry, 3. Number 1 is having clarity of vision. You've got to know what you're out to achieve. Okay? Get specific as possible. Write down your goals. How many of you guys have written goals? All right. Eric, this is your room, man. This is your room. Are you teaching goals this weekend? Okay, great. Cool. Eric's going to go through that. I don't need to do that. Number 1, make sure that you are exactly specific with what you want to do. I'm going to tell you one story about that. I met Mark Victor Hansen 19 years ago, May 18th, 2004. I'd hired him to be a speaker at an event, a charity fundraising event up in Portland, Oregon. I was volunteering for this organization, Northwest Medical Teams, a Christian group that was like Medical Teams International, no, Doctors Without Borders, but it was a Christian-based organization. And I just went to a lunch and learn. I said yes. And I was so impacted by the doctor telling his story because he had just gotten back from Africa. And he said he would work 18-hour days at the end of every day. As he's going to the van, he said, undoubtedly every day there was a woman carrying her baby saying, but what about my child? And I'm just like, okay, I'm in. Like, tell me what I got to do to make a difference, right? So I got involved and started volunteering. And they asked me to be on their corporate industry council. I said yes. They asked if I would help find a speaker for their upcoming annual awards banquet. I said yes. I happened to know somebody that knew Mark Victor Hansen. I said, would you ask Mark? He said yes. And Mark agreed to do it. Now, Mark didn't agree to do it for free, but I was able to get the cost down about half. And I said, you know what? I was doing well at the time. I said, he's the guy. He had written The 1 Minute Millionaire. Anybody read The 1 Minute Millionaire? If you haven't read that book, I think it's one of the best books I've ever written or read. Don't you think that book was awesome? What's cool about it, do you remember what is awesome about it? Do you remember what the one really unique thing about that book, unlike any other?
It's been a while.
Okay. It's 2 books in one.
Yeah.
So the left side is like the how-to of success. The right side is a fictional story. Remember that? And so you can either read the woman's story because the woman had her kids taken away for her, and I won't do the spoiler alert, but it's how she had to unlock financial success in order to win her kids back, right? And then the left side of the pages is how do you do that? How do you manifest success? So I had read this book, and the subtitle is The Enlightened Way to Wealth, right? It's all about making income that you use to create impact. And I was so moved by this book. I'm like, if we can get him, it'd be awesome. So we did. We raised enough money in that one day. We did 2 events. He had agreed to do the luncheon event and speak at that, but then we already had the ballroom at the Benson Hotel in Portland, Oregon rented, and they said, if you want to do an evening event, he'll speak for free. And I'm like, okay, so we got the place for free, we got the speaker for free, so we did another event, and we raised enough money to send $1.2 million in medical supplies in that one day, which was super cool. And Mark invited everybody to do their goals. He wanted everyone to have 101 goals. And if you don't have at least 101 goals, Eric's going to show you how tomorrow, yeah? And so the next week I went to Hawaii, and I bought all of Mark's stuff. I listened to all his CDs, and I literally spent that week in Hawaii. My wife goes to bed by like 9. I am up till like 1. So I was on the beach listening to my praise music with my laptop going, okay, Lord, what do you have for me? What's the rest of my life meant to be like, right? And I came back with a vision for that. One of the things I wanted to do was I wanted Mark to write about me in a book by May 28th, 2005, 1 year later. And I also wanted him to be my mentor. So I came back and I asked, and he said yes to be my mentor, which was awesome. And then literally after a few months of knowing him, he said, by the way, we're writing the follow-up to the 1 Minute Millionaire. It's going to be called Cracking the Millionaire Code. Would it be okay if we write about you? And I said, yes, absolutely. And that book came out May 31st, 2005. Okay, so I was off by 3 days, and I'm okay with that. But this is the power of vision and the power of asking, and that's the second key. So number 1, you've got to have a vision. Number 2, you've got to be willing to ask for what you want. Okay? If you don't ask, you don't get. Mark's latest book is called Ask, The Bridge from Your Dreams to Your Destiny. And he lives here in town. We just had breakfast on Tuesday. I just asked him to be our chief visionary officer for HOA.com, and he said yes. So that was fun this week. And then the third thing is you've got to take action. Eric, I know, is going to be talking about the more action you take, the more results that you will make. Okay? If you really want to break through to success, you got to have a vision, you've got to ask for what you want, and you've got to take action. Some of you are just thinking about it. Let's just be real. I have my mom, the one expression that we have, or that I hear from her all the time, she'll tell me something she wants to do. I'll talk to her a week later, and I'll say, how's that going? Have you taken any action? She said, no, but I've been thinking about it. Anybody think about it? A little too much? Sometimes. That K that Spencer was talking about, that knowledge card gets in our way sometimes. Okay? At our team, we talk about the first is the worst. It's okay to fail forward. I think that word fail needs to be rewritten. Eric, you got a better word for that? We were having this conversation the other day. Do you have a better word than fail? Does anybody have a better word that we can replace in our language besides fail? Learn? That's better. Mary? What is it? Step back? Setback. I think it's about forward though, right? Because it's not about you fail. The only way you fail is to quit, right? I mean, if you guys are business owners, you know this. The only way you fail is if you quit. Yeah, you got one? Yeah, I love that. I love that. And it's really about learning, right? So we teach the first is the worst because we want people to be okay trying something, taking action. And even if you don't achieve the desired outcome that first time, you keep pushing forward, right? Yeah, you got one? Experience. Okay. So it's like you step up to the plate and you struck out and you're going to call that I have an experience. Okay. Okay, I'm going to ask all of you to think about this. And please, if you come up with a better word, we've got to rewrite failure because you got one, Phil?
I just looked up acronym for fail.
Yeah.
First attempt in learning.
Ooh, there you go. There you go. First attempt in learning. That's like faith. Forward all issues to heaven. Yeah, you got one? Yeah. Oh, that's really good. I love it. I love it. So don't be afraid to fall forward, right? Get into action. Ask for what you want. The more that you ask and you take action, guys, you're going to get there. You may not succeed the first time around, right, Troy? I mean, you stuck with this, right? And the more that you stay in the game, the more at-bats you take, the more wins you're going to make and the better life you're going to live. So that's what I have for you. Thank you guys for being here and for supporting Eric. It's been awesome.